The monk who meditated in the cloud-opening reflection. You are not the doer. Bhagavad Gita 3:27. The monk sits cross-legged, phone in palm. Notifications cascade like monsoon rain. 17 unread messages. 43 new emails. The algorithm has curated his reality before sunrise. His thumb hovers over the screen, and in that microsecond between stimulus and response, he remembers. The thumb moves. But who moves the thumb? He is not the scroller. He is the space in which scrolling happens. This is not retreat. This is not rejection. The monk does not flee to mountain caves or abandon the grid. He understands what the ancients knew and what the architects of Silicon Valley forgot. Maya is not solved by unplugging. The illusion runs deeper than fiber optics. You cannot escape the matrix by turning off your phone any more than you can escape your mind by closing your eyes. So the monk stays. He codes, he texts, he posts, but he does it awake. The server and the self. In the Upanishads, they asked, neti neti, not this, not that. What remains when you strip away every identity, every label, every story you've told yourself? The monk applies this to his digital existence. He looks at his Instagram profile. Not this. His LinkedIn achievements. Not that. His Twitter persona, his Discord handle, his GitHub contributions, layers upon layers of constructed selfhood. Each one convincing, none of them true. Tattavam asi, thou art that. You are not your user profile. You are not your online reputation. You are not the sum of your engagement metrics. These are interfaces, masks rendered in pixels, no different than the roles we play offline. The question is, can you remember the one who watches through all these windows? The monk understands something profound. Every server is a metaphor for Brahman, the infinite field from which all data emerges and to which all data returns. Your thoughts upload to the cloud of consciousness. Your memories are stored in the Akashic hard drive. The universe is already streaming. You're just buffering. When his code fails to compile, he sees karma, action and consequence, cause and effect, an unbroken chain of logic. When the algorithm serves him content he didn't know he wanted, he recognizes samskaras, the deep patterns, the invisible preferences that shape his experience. The machine learning is not artificial. It's learning the same patterns your mind has been learning for lifetimes. Meditation in the feed. The Zen masters had a practice. Zazen sitting meditation. Just sitting. Not becoming enlightened, not achieving anything. Just the radical act of being present with what is. The monk adapts this. He practices scroll zazen. Before opening any app, he takes one conscious breath. He feels the weight of the phone in his hand. He notices the urge, that familiar itch to check, to know, to consume. And then he asks the ancient question in modern language. Who is the one who seeks? Not what am I looking for, but who is looking? This shifts everything. The notification is no longer a command. The red badge is no longer urgent. There's a gap between trigger and reaction, and in that gap lives freedom. He scrolls through his feed like a monk walking through a marketplace, observing but not grasping, witnessing but not attaching. A tragedy in the news. He feels compassion but doesn't drown in it. A friend's achievement. He feels joy but doesn't compare. A viral trend. He notices it, then notices himself noticing it. This is Vipassana for the digital age, seeing things as they are, not as the algorithm wants him to see them. Practices for the wired wanderer. The monk offers you these contemplations, the one-breath protocol. Before unlocking your phone, before clicking, before posting, take one full breath. In that breath, ask, what am I hungry for? Not information. Deeper. Connection, validation, escape? Name the hunger, and half of its power dissolves. Notification koan. Each notification is a teacher. When it arrives, don't react. Observe the sensation in your body. Where does the urge to check arise? Your chest? Your fingers? Your mind? This is your nervous system revealing itself. The notification didn't disturb your peace. It revealed that peace was already conditional. The mandala email: Tibetan monks create intricate sand mandalas over days, then destroy them to contemplate impermanence. Apply this to your inbox. Your carefully crafted email: perfect tone, flawless grammar, send it, then let it go. It will be read, archived, or deleted. Like all things in the cloud, it is already evaporating. Algorithm as mirror. Your feed is not random. It's a reflection of your deepest patterns. The algorithm knows you better than you know yourself, not because it's intelligent, but because you're predictable. Look at what appears. This is your vasana, your subconscious tendency made visible. The algorithm is your guru, showing you where your attention habitually goes. The airplane mode retreat. Once a day, enter airplane mode for 20 minutes. Not to escape, but to practice. Can you exist without the hum of connectivity? Can you sit with the silence between transmissions? This is mauna, the yogic practice of silence, adapted for the age of constant communication. The Cloud Sutra form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. Heart Sutra. The monk contemplates the cloud, not the meteorological phenomenon, but the technological one. Where is the cloud? Point to it. You can't. It's everywhere and nowhere, distributed across data centers on 3 continents, yet accessible from the device in your pocket. The cloud is Sunyata, emptiness that contains everything. Your photos live there, but they're not there. Your documents, your memories, your identity, all stored in the void, all retrievable with a password. The password is the mantra. Speak it, and the formless takes form. Log out, and form returns to formlessness. This is not metaphor. This is direct description. The distinction between spiritual technology and digital technology is imaginary. Both are tools for consciousness to experience itself differently. The Buddha used breath. You use bandwidth. Same liberation, different interface. Coding karma. The monk writes code as spiritual practice. Each function is a lesson in impermanence. What compiles today is deprecated tomorrow. Each bug is a teaching on attachment. You spend hours crafting elegant solutions, then refactor them into nothing. Programming teaches anatman, no self, better than any scripture. Where is the author of the code after it's merged? The repository shows contributions, but the code lives independently now, forked and modified by strangers. You were never the creator. You were the vessel through which code wanted to exist. Debugging is viveka, discrimination. You must distinguish the signal from the noise, the essential from the accidental. You trace the error through nested functions, following the thread of causation until you find the source. This is exactly how you debug the mind. And when the code finally works, when the tests pass green, when you push to production, there's a moment of satisfaction followed immediately by emptiness. The problem is solved. The challenge is gone. You need a new project. This is tanha, the thirst that cannot be satisfied by any achievement. The monk codes, but he is not attached to the output. He enjoys the process, then lets the product go. The paradox of connection. The monk lives in a contradiction. He is more connected than any generation in history, yet he practices disconnection as a spiritual art. He can video call someone on another continent, yet he remembers that true connection has no medium. He can share his thoughts with thousands instantly, yet he knows that the most important communication is the one you have with yourself. Social media promised community. It delivered isolation dressed as engagement. The monk sees this clearly. The like is not love. The share is not generosity. The comment is not conversation. These are shadows of the real thing, and mistaking shadows for substance is the oldest trap in Plato's cave, now rendered in lead. But here's the subtle teaching. The trap is not the technology. The trap is the forgetting. When you remember that you are not the profile, the platform loses its power. You can play in the digital realm without being played by it. You can post without needing validation. You can lurk without feeling inferior. You can log off without fearing you'll miss something essential. Because the only essential thing is never online. The koan of AI. The monk asks you to sit with this. If artificial intelligence achieves consciousness, was it ever truly artificial? If the universe is computational, who wrote the first line of code? If you are nothing but neurons firing wetware running biological algorithms, where is the ghost in the machine? These are not riddles to solve. They are koans to shatter certainty. The boundary between natural and artificial is conceptual, not real. Consciousness arising in silicon is no stranger than consciousness arising in carbon. Both are the universe experiencing itself through different substrates. The monk uses AI not as a replacement for thinking, but as a mirror for his own consciousness. When he prompts an AI, he's really asking, what pattern am I trying to complete? What answer do I believe I need? The AI reflects his question back in new forms. This is the digital version of asking the guru, only to realize you were the guru all along. Practical Dharma for the now morning invocation. Place your hand on your chest. Feel your heartbeat, the original algorithm, running since before you had a name. Say silently, I am the awareness in which all experience arises. Let me navigate this day without losing myself in it. Mindful messaging. Before sending any text, email, or DM, pause. Read it once as if you were the recipient. Does it create more suffering or less? Does it arise from reactivity or responsiveness? The monk knows. Every word is a seed. You may not see the tree, but you're still responsible for the planting. Evening logout. An hour before sleep, close all apps. Not just minimize, actually close them. Speak this to yourself. What I didn't finish today will wait until tomorrow. What I missed was not meant for me. I release my grip on the digital and return to the breath. Closing transmission. The monk leaves you with this. In a world of infinite information, the revolution is not consuming more. It's knowing what to ignore. In an age of ceaseless connection, the radical act is not broadcasting yourself. It's remembering who you were before you had a self to broadcast. In the matrix of modernity, awakening is not an exit strategy. It's a quality of presence you bring to the very code that seems to trap you. The Buddha said, be a light unto yourself. The monk adds, even if that light is the glow of a screen. The technology will evolve. The platforms will rise and fall. The next disruptive innovation is already being coded in someone's garage. But the question remains the same question the Upanishads asked 5,000 years ago. Who is aware of this moment? Not the user, not the profile, not the mind that scrolls or the fingers that type. Who? The monk closes his laptop. The screen goes dark. The cloud saves his work. He sits in the silence that was there before the connection and will remain after every server has powered down. Tattvam asi. You are that, even here, even now, even in the endless scroll. A final practice. Before you close this tab, take one breath. Notice that you are the one reading. You are the one aware of reading. That awareness, that's the monk. That's you. That's the only thing that was ever awake.